Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. We've got quite the story for you today.
It's a real head scratcher.
Yeah, it's a real-life mystery about a missing journalist. Her name's Emma. She just vanished, poof, gone.
And her best friend, Mark, another journalist, decided to take the case,
Oh, wow.
into his own hands. He's got to find her.
So we're going to try to figure this out along with him, right?
That's right. We've got some sources here that lay out what happened. Apparently, Emma was working on some huge story before she disappeared.
Oh, okay, so right off the bat, the sources all point to Emma's sudden silence.
Right.
Like no calls, no texts, no
Yeah,
emails.
she just went completely dark.
Wow.
And this is not like Emma at all. I mean, the sources really stress how unusual this is for her.
Especially for a journalist, right?
Exactly. Journalists, they live and breathe communication. They're always chasing down leads, talking to sources. For one to just go silent like that, it's a huge red flag.
Yeah, Mark knew something was wrong right away. So he starts by checking their usual hangout spots, that cafe they always went to.
Yeah, I read that. The barista said he hadn't seen her in days.
Yeah, and then when Mark realizes Emma's car is missing too, that's when things really start to feel serious.
Right, because at that point, it's not just that she's out of touch, it's like she's intentionally disappeared.
And that's where his journalist instincts really kick in.
Oh, absolutely. He knows he has to look into Emma's last story, the one she was so secretive about. And that makes sense, right? You know how it is. You get really invested in your work, especially when it could be a big deal.
Yeah, and this wasn't just any story. Sources say it was something she was really digging deep into, like some kind of sensitive investigation.
Yeah, something she was keeping very close to the vest.
Right. So Mark starts going through her stuff and finds her notebook.
The one she always carried around.
Yeah, and inside he finds a name. Global Mining Co. and an address.
Ooh, that's interesting. Sounds like our first real lead.
Right. What do you think this Global Mining Co. is all about?
Well, based on the name, I'm going to guess they're a pretty big corporation. Probably got their hands in a lot of different things. Mining can be a really shady business. Lots of opportunities for corruption, environmental damage, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so you're thinking maybe Emma was onto something about them.
It's possible. It would explain why she was being so secretive. These kinds of companies, they have a lot of power, a lot to lose. They don't like it when people start poking around in their affairs.
And that could be dangerous, right? For someone like Emma.
Absolutely. Especially if she got too close to something they didn't want exposed. Look, investigative journalism is important, but it can be risky.
Yeah, it's not all glamorous like in the movies.
No, not at all. These folks are putting themselves on the line, to uncover the truth. Sometimes they pay a high price for it.
That makes Mark's next move all the more important. He brings in a colleague, Sarah, to help him.
Yeah, smart move. Two heads are better than one, especially in a situation like this.
Definitely. And it's safer, too. They don't know what they're walking into at that address.
Right, it could be nothing, or it could be something really dangerous.
So our sources leave us with Mark and Sarah setting off to that address. Talk about a cliffhanger. What do you think they'll find?
Your guess is as good as mine. But I have a feeling this global mining co. is going to be at the center of it all.
This is what makes these deep dives so fascinating, right? Real people, real mysteries.
Yeah, it's like we're right there with Mark trying to piece together the clues.
We've got a missing journalist, a secretive investigation, a powerful corporation. It's got all the makings of a thriller.
It really makes you think about the risks some people are willing to take to expose the truth. What would you do if you were Mark? Would you keep digging?
That's a tough one. It's a good question for everyone listening to think about. We've all got our own lines. How far would you go for a friend? For the truth?
Sometimes the truth can be a dangerous thing, but it's always worth fighting for.
That's something to remember as we sign off. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll be back with more stories soon. But for now, keep those questions coming and never stop searching for those answers.
See you next time.
See you later.